Hello and welcome to this talk about Trump, Greenland and the Arctic. Just a health warning that this is a cold subject. No, actually it's a cool subject. And it highlights some topics of very great importance in international politics. In fact, I covered this aspect in my book entitled The Global Patriot. So let's start. Just discounting the clumsy way that Trump has handled the situation, but one must not forget that what he's trying to do is of great strategic importance. It is not the first time that the US tried to buy Greenland. In fact, in 1946, President Truman, offered $100 million to buy it, and it was rejected by the government of Denmark. So the whole process of trying to have control and sovereignty over this island highlights a lot of issues of strategic importance and of relevance to the main subject which I am all about, and that is world government. How these two things are connected, I try to make it clear in this short segment. First, a few words about the island. This is the largest island in the world, Greenland. It is inhabited by some 57,000 Inuit people who migrated from the Arctic a long time ago, about 1,000 years ago. It's rich in minerals, rare earth, which is a material used in a very rare kind of material used in electronic devices, and it is financed by Denmark because it doesn't have any industry as such or great revenue, because they rely on fishing and hunting, traditional methods. But the environment is very pristine. The air is the least polluted in the whole world. It borders the Arctic along with Russia, which has the longest coast, and the US and Norway, and of course Canada. Now, many countries have laid claim for the Arctic, but the 5 major countries are the main stakeholders. So the US via Greenland will lengthen its coast with the Arctic to match Russia, which has the longest border. Russia has been flexing its muscles lately by building on the border missile bases and planting a flag in the Arctic Ocean, and doing all sorts of things to bolster its claim for the Arctic. Now, what we have here is a competition for the melting Arctic. Why melting Arctic? Because the temperature rises twice as fast as the rest of the planet. If it rises 1 degree in the rest of the planet, it's 2 degrees. And not only Donald Trump is cracking up, but the ice sheet of the Arctic is also cracking up, just as Mr. Trump is doing. Now, Arctic has 12.5% of all the oil reserves of the world and 25% of the gas reserves, and has a lot of minerals as well. So because of the greenhouse effect and the rapidly melting ice. The access to these hydrocarbon reserves becomes easier and easier. And as we extract more hydrocarbons and burn them up, the greenhouse effect has its role in melting the ice, and so you have a vicious circle, and it only leads to degrading this beautiful, pristine island. A lot of the islanders, of course, are against any mining, but I think, and the indication that they are going to lose this battle, and the miners will move in Greenland. So, why am I talking about Greenland and the Arctic? It's because we have sovereign states engaged in competitive war, you could say, kind of a slow-moving Cold War, to gain more access to the Arctic, which is owned by nobody. And that's why when you have places on Earth, on planet Earth, which is not, that are not owned by anybody, then they are by implication owned by somebody, and that is the world government, who represent the whole people of the world, because these unclaimed areas belong to the rest of the world, to everybody. So they engage in a zero-sum game, which will contribute towards instability and future wars. So you have two nuclear-armed superpowers engaged in this business of trying to get a bigger foothold into the Arctic. If we had a world government, if we had a super authority, then there would be no room for pointless competition. Then this super authority, according to some law, will adjudicate, will draw the lines, will establish peace. Now, I have covered this aspect in my book entitled The Global Patriot, which is available on Amazon. So anybody interested to go deeper into the subject, I think I highly recommend getting access to this book. With this, I conclude and hope to meet and talk about another similar subject related to the establishment and the necessity and the role a world government will play in preserving planet Earth and world peace. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.